What is going on, you guys? Today I have another super quick episode for you. So today we're going to be reviewing an episode from the Lewis Howes School of Greatness podcast. He's interviewing his guest Bob Proctor here, and the episode title is Stop Working Hard If You Want to Be Rich. Let's hop into it.
I think earning money is one of the simplest things I ever learned. And it's one of the most misunderstood things.
You mentioned how you were making $4,000 something dollars a year. Your expenses were $6,000, I think, something like that. And then you started making $14,000.
Well, my expenses weren't $6,000. I owed $6,000.
You owed $6,000.
I owed everybody that I knew.
And you were making around $14,000 a year after that, shortly after that.
No, I went from earning $4,000 a year to $14,500 a month.
Exactly.
Now, if you annualize that, that was $175 a year. So I went from earning $4,000 a year to $175. I hadn't earned $175 that year. I got it up to $14,500 a month. So if you annualize it, that's a change. Phenomenal change.
Is it possible for anyone to go from poverty level to extremely financially successful?
Absolutely. I think earning money is one of the simplest things I ever learned. And it's one of the most misunderstood things. Wealthy people historically have always had multiple sources of income. They don't have one. They have many.
Yeah.
I was cleaning floors. I thought the answer was work harder. Because I really wanted to earn some money.
Yeah, of course.
And I thought it was all important. Today,
Hear that. Cleaning floors. And I thought the answer was to work harder. And most of us do. Obviously, I resonate with anyone who's been watching this so far and been like, what? That's not true. It's not just working harder, not figuring out and working harder. There's another element to it, of course.
attitude towards money.
Because, like, think about it, like doctors, healthcare workers, or construction workers, right? Like, it's a noble profession, right? Although working harder isn't really, like, they're not getting paid enough for what they do either way, right? And ironically, healthcare workers sometimes can be pretty unhealthy by the kind of, like, shifts, like the amount of time that they work in their shift, or for other reasons. Working overnight, of course we need people to take care of folks, with illnesses and health conditions overnight too, right? So there's no real avoiding that, I suppose. But I'm curious to hear what they're going to say here.
Changed dramatically. But I thought the answer was get another office to clean. Well, I was working so hard, I passed out on the street. I would have been maybe 27, 28. I literally passed out on the street. I was working so hard. I came to, and there's a great big cop looking at me. I was laying there. It was scary. There was a group of people around me. I saw lights flashing. Then I saw a couple of guys in uniform with a stretcher. And it was scary. I had passed out. I guess they thought I had dropped dead. I had a heck of a time getting away from them, but I did get away. They didn't take me to the hospital. I talked them out of it. I got away, and I got thinking, I'm not doing this right.
Working harder, working more hours is not the way.
No.
Yeah.
In fact, Napoleon Hill wrote that in Think and Grow Rich. He said, if you are one of those people who believe that hard work and honesty alone will bring riches, perish the thought, it is not true. Riches, when they come in huge quantities, never come as a result of hard work. They come, if they come at all, in response to definite demands based upon the application of definite principles and not by chance or luck. So you got to find a demand and fill it, but you got to follow definite principles to do it.
Wow.
In other words, it's got to be in harmony with the law. You got to give more than you get. If you're trying to get, forget it.
Yeah.
Give more than you get. Provide more value than you receive.
Well, I got by myself and I thought I'm doing something wrong.
How I created my LinkedIn photos. Open the Momo app. Click.
I was earning more money, but here I'm passionate. This is not normal. And it's like a little voice in my head said, if you can't clean all of them, don't clean any of them. So I got all dressed up. People now accuse me of sleeping in my suit. I wouldn't take a suit off. Didn't matter where I was. Because I knew the cleaners were tired, and I would go around. I got other people cleaning offices. And I knew pretty well where they'd be. So I'd drop around, I'd bring coffee and donuts, and I would drop in and I would talk to them about goals. And then I'd go to the next person. But I always was dressed up because I knew how tired you get. And if I was in working clothes, they'd expect me to help them so they could finish and go home.
Interesting.
But when I had shiny shoes and a suit and shirt and tie, they didn't expect me to help them clean. So I'd go on to the next place and then the next place. And that's when I started to open offices. I went from Toronto to Montreal to Boston to Cleveland to Atlanta to London, England.
You hired cleaners.
Everywhere I went.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had people cleaning.
What should someone think about if they're struggling financially right now, or they feel like they've been struggling for many years, and it feels like they're just surviving week after week, month after month. They're not sure how to get to that kind of sense of freedom for at least a 6-month runway or beyond. What should they start thinking about?
Do you know what you've just described? I believe the majority of people are living that way.
Yeah.
The majority. Now that's rather sad, but I think it's true. And it's because
It is true, because I forget the number exactly. You can look it up, but it's been stated on a bunch of podcasts and YouTube videos, right? Like, basically, like, especially like the majority of Americans have, I don't even know, it's like under $1,000 in their bank account or something like that. It might be like they only have $500 after bills and everything. So they're basically mostly living paycheck to paycheck, which is scary, right? Because it puts you in a position where, like, if you have a health scare, right, like some kind of health issue or something, and you need to be able to pay for some medical help or something, right, like you basically won't be able to do it in that circumstance, right? Or something else might happen and it'll put you in a compromising position because you don't really have enough that you're saving, right? So, like, he's addressing a very specific issue that a lot of people struggle with. So I like where this is going.
we only have one problem in the whole world, and that's ignorance. They're living in ignorance. They don't know that what they're doing is going to keep them where they are. And they keep doing it because they don't know how to change. They're over.
Right. So you keep doing the same thing. You keep working harder, and nothing's changing because the definition of crazy or the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So it's not simply working harder.
Overwhelmed with the debt. People are saying, I need the money. They haven't got it. They want to take their family on a vacation. They don't have the money to go.
Mm-hmm.
So they may borrow it and go anyway. Now they got more debt.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They have to understand that they don't have to live that way. I wrote a book called You're Born Rich. The truth is you are. Most people are just a little short of money, but you are born rich in potential. Anybody can go to our site, go to bobproctor.com. You can download the book, You Were Born Rich, free. It won't cost you a cent. And chapter 2 is how much is enough. It's described very well how to get out of debt. You got to create a debt repayment program where it's all done automatically. And then you focus on prosperity. You've got to have a financial goal. You've got to work toward it. And you've got to understand that you can earn more than you're earning. And wealthy people don't have one source of income. They have more than one. I was earning money all last night while I was sleeping.
Yep.
You can actually earn more money when you're sleeping than you can spend when you're awake.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds like a cute line, but it's true. There's no end to what we can earn. If you are not getting information from someone who is already wealthy, then you're probably getting information from the wrong people. Most people ask their brother-in-law, or the guy next door, or the girl they know, how do I earn more? Hell, if they knew, they'd be earning it. They don't know. And
I love that point, right? Because, again, like, if you haven't heard this before, I say it a lot, you know, like, and you can take it from different mentors, right? Like, you know, not someone isn't always going to be good at everything, right? So maybe you want to seek relationship advice from someone who's happily married for a long time with a family, right? Maybe you want to seek another mentor for someone who's good with finances, has built the kind of life, the dream life that you have, right? Or maybe they're really passionate about what they're doing for their career and they're making a lot doing that, right? Maybe they would be a good mentor to ask, you know, or for fitness, right? Like you wouldn't, I mean, let's be real, right? Like you wouldn't want to ask someone who's overweight about how to look like Captain America, right? It just doesn't make sense, right? So, like, sometimes it's one mentor, sometimes it's several, but be careful who you're taking advice from. Basically, that's what he's saying, right? It's like you're asking people who don't have the result that you want, right? So maybe seeking or at least being open and looking elsewhere.
most people talk to people that don't know. Carlyle put it very well. He said he did not believe in the collective wisdom of individual ignorance. And that's where most people are getting it from, people that don't know any more than themselves. I think you have to go. That's why these seminars are so important today.
Yeah.
People have the opportunity to go and learn. Most people won't pay to go. I tell people, listen, you invest in this, it'll probably be, and borrow the money to do it, it's probably the last time you'll ever have to borrow money.
Yeah.
Our seminars are not rah-rah, it's not nothing. Our seminars teach people about themselves. It's like when Bill Gove said, if I want to be free, I got to be me. I'm thinking, I better know who me is. I didn't know who me was. I was doing a lot of things, I was doing them right, and I was earning money, but I didn't know who I was. I started to study me. And the more I know me, the better I know you. You only have to study yourself. You'll know what everybody, because we're all the same.
Yeah.
It's our behavior that's different, our results that are different.
I heard a friend of mine, Dean Graziosi, I don't know if he coined this or someone else said it, and he said it from someone else, but he said, those that pay attention. And when you invest in yourself, you're paying attention to
You know, I never heard that before, but that is the truth.
Those that pay attention. But if you don't pay for it, you're not going to pay as much attention. If you pay more, you'll pay more attention to learn.
I had an aunt and uncle who were as poor as church mice. I mean, they just didn't have anything. And they had a whole house full of kids. And I used to drop by their house periodically. I was doing very well. And I was teaching seminar. And I remember it was around Christmas time, and he was rushing around trying to get credit cards from some big store so they could buy presents for the kids.
Yeah.
And I said, you know something? He said, never mind, next year will be different. I said, you know something? Next year's going to be exactly the same as it is this year, because you never change you.
Wow.
I said, you should get into the seminars and learn something. I know something you don't know. Well, they came to the seminar. He got paid every 2 weeks. So that meant 3 times a year, I think, he'd get paid 3 times, maybe 4 times a year. He'd get paid 3 times in a month. That one pay was extra because they were budgeted for 2 pays. I made them pay to come to it. Wow. Something said I made them pay. And I think they thought I should have comped them into it. But you know, Mark thanked me, my aunt, I don't know how many times that I charged them. She said, we wouldn't have kept coming. I didn't even know what you were talking about. I was running seminars, it was 7 evenings from 7 to 10. It was running over a series of nights years ago. And she said, I wouldn't have kept coming. But she said, because we paid, I came.
Of course.
He's right. If they pay attention. That is so true. And if they don't,
you're not going to be, you don't really care. When you hear something you don't like, this is not for me.
That's
Let me get
right.
out of here. I got something better to do.
Yeah.
Especially in LA, I want to go to the beach. This is too hard work.
Yeah.
It's confronting my ego. I don't need this.
I'm firmly convinced if a person doesn't understand a paradigm is nothing but a multitude of habits. They're programmed into your subconscious mind to control your behavior. It's got nothing to do with how smart you are. It's got nothing to do with what your formal education is. It's got nothing to do with which side of the tracks you come from.
By the way, something I've noticed, right? Like I've heard a lot of like business owners and folks doing well talk about this. Is that like the person, like there's a lot of people who are very smart that are unsuccessful financially because they hold themselves back because of the level of overthinking that they're doing, overanalyzing. Basically what they do is they hold themselves back for longer than they need to, or a very long time, or forever, right? Because they're too scared. It's all a fear, right? They don't trust themselves. They're afraid to make a move. And so they don't, or they take too long, right? Or longer than it needed to. Weeks, months, years, a decade, more, right? Which is a bummer because then some of these same people will say, like, the person who was quote unquote not thinking so much, you know, like maybe they weren't like the most intelligent person, and basically what happened is that created a situation where they didn't think too much, they didn't try to overanalyze it, and they just did the actions, right? They figured things out, and by doing that they failed faster and succeeded faster, while the overthinker was just like worrying about failure. Oh, what if this, what if, should I do that? I don't know. And that's basically what they're talking about here, right? So it's all inside you, right? Like you're holding yourself back. It's a mental block.
It has to do with your paradigm. The paradigm is a program in your subconscious mind. It's both genetic and environmental that's controlling your behavior. Everyone that can hear my voice knows how to do better than they're doing. And they may wonder, why don't I do it? It's because you're programmed to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
And until you change the program, nothing's going to change. Paradigm has to be changed.
I love that. What would you say are if you could share 3 key habits for people that if they want to continue to grow every day, be more prosperous, be more abundant, happier, joyful, healthier in their life, what are 3 key things, habits every day, not talking about morning routine, but just overall habits every single day? What should people be focusing on consistently?
They should study every day.
Study.
They should have a mentor. Someone that has already accomplished what they dream about.
Yeah.
They might not even know the person. They could get introduced to them and ask them, what are half a dozen things I should do every day?
Yeah.
Ask them. They know. Most people are getting advice from people that don't know any more than themselves.
Yeah.
And the third one, you've definitely got to have a goal, and when you write it, you've already got it intellectually. So you operate intellectually, emotionally, and physically. Well, your intellectual mind, the second you decide on it, you've got it. It tells you in the Bible, before you speak, I'll hear you.
And by the way, that's like another aspect of this, right? Is being indecisive. It's not just the overthinking, the overanalyzing, because that leads to indecision, right? But like being indecisive often indicates that you don't trust yourself, right? Because you have this idea or this goal in mind, and more than likely, it's not like you might pretend like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what my goal is. I don't know what my dream life looks like. I don't know what my vision is. But more than likely, deep down at your core, I bet you do. Or I bet you have like a talent, something that you're good at, or maybe a few things that you're talented or good at, right? And you've suppressed them and just worked harder, right? You've suppressed those things that you're good at, or a way that you're good at helping people, thinking that that would never get you to the life you wanted financially and the other areas, right? Like your relationships, etc. So that is huge, like being able to actually make a decision because you trust yourself. And that's the funny part about it, right? Is like if you fail faster, you succeed faster. So if you make it's never the wrong decision, right? Because it might take you on a little detour, but you're going to learn something valuable. You're going to learn maybe what you don't want, or something from that you can take in the other direction, because that's what's going to happen, right? Is it's like course correction with like an airplane or something, right? Like you correct your course because you made a decision. Maybe that one wasn't it. So now you go in the other direction, right? So you need to be able to master making a decision 100%, because that's going to hold you back. Because you need to get to the point where you trust yourself to make a decision, right? That's going to be like a huge life skill.
It's because the thought always precedes the word. The second you get emotionally involved, you've got it emotionally.
Yep.
So you've got it intellectually, you've got it emotionally. It's only a period of time till you got it physically.
Be, do, have, yeah.
That's right. But the have comes in a period of time.
So it's not overnight?
Every seed has a gestation or an incubation period.
Yeah.
When a woman gets pregnant with a child, it takes 280 days.
Yeah.
The husband doesn't come home a month later and say, come on, where is it?
Right.
He waits, as James Allen said, as one who understands. He understands there's a gestation period. Where I come from, if you plant a seed for a carrot, it takes approximately 70 days for it to manifest. All physical seeds have a gestation or an incubation period. We know that now, but we didn't always know that. We weren't always aware. No one knows what the gestation period is for a spiritual seed, and an idea is a spiritual seed. But we do know that it operates by the same laws. And the laws of the universe are precise. They can be studied.
Yeah.
They can be understood. We operate by law. Our life is governed by laws. Like we know it's going to get dark tonight. We don't wonder if it is.
Yeah.
You know when the tide goes out, it's coming back. Winter never follows winter. We know these things. That's all expression of law. Well, when we bring our life into harmony with the laws, we're going to enjoy more of life.
Yeah.
If we fight it, we're going to lose.
If you want to learn how to make more money and master.
Well, and that last point is really good. Like, because if you have the idea, if you have the goal, if you have the things that you want, deep down, it's not like, oh, I don't know. You probably deep down know what you really want. Then there's a gestation period, like what he's talking about, like before a baby's born, there's 9 months, or other situations as well. And so there's a gestation period before it happens. And your job is not to overanalyze it, not try to rush it. Your job is to make sure that you're not resisting it, right? That's what he's talking about there, is being in a state of non-resistance, because you make it harder on yourself when you have, because you could do things like think thoughts of resistance, like money doesn't grow on trees versus money does actually grow on trees and they print it, right? Or money is the root of all evil. No, the love of money is the root of all evil, or greed is evil, right? And money is simply an amplifier for your true nature or your true character, right? So like, if you're going to be greedy, maybe that was already going to happen, versus someone who uses money as a tool or a resource to help others, right? So different things like that, like creating non-resistance. Like instead of I can't afford it, it's I can afford that. Like I'm working towards that right now. Like that's on its way, right? Again, on its way, gestating, just like the idea for the way that you're going to provide value to the world to create that abundance of money, relationships, etc. You want a positive, essentially like a positive frequency or a positive current. You know, because currency comes from the word current, like an electrical current. So meaning that you have the right vibrational frequency to create abundance in finances, relationships, etc. Right? So I hope that this episode was helpful for you guys in some way, and it's getting you kind of going with some different ideas. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. You got this, bro.